Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to your Lunch Break Live. My name is Ivana Hurdenq if you're new here, and if you're not, thank you for coming back. Now, we're getting a little bit later of a start today, and that is because we're working to bring you the latest information on a story that we're developing this morning, and that is following up on a Friday night shooting at Ladd-Peebles Stadium in Mobile. So we're going to give you a little bit of a background, tell you what we know today, and what we're expecting to find out today. So I am joined right now by our Mobile area reporter, Tandra Smith. Tandra is right now in front of Theodore High School Stadium. So I know we can see that behind you, Tandra, but the reason that Tandra is there is because that game on Friday night resumed this morning at the Theodore Stadium. So let me recap what is happening, and then I will toss things to you, Tandra. But First, here's what we know. There were multiple people injured, including one person who had life-threatening injuries. And that person, other outlets have reported, is named Jacoby Morgan. And multiple people are injured, including Jacoby, with life-threatening injuries following a shooting Friday night at Ladd-Peebles Stadium in Mobile. Now, that shooting erupted just before the game was over. I believe it was about 9:56 p.m., about 5 minutes left in that high school game. The gunfire erupted in the stadium. We have seen videos on social media of players and fans in the stands taking cover. Now, we don't have a whole lot of information outside of that. Fast forward to Saturday night, about 24 hours later, there was an arrest made in the case, and that arrest was announced. We will put the link here so you can read all about that. But what we know is that person is named, I believe it's pronounced Jay Scott. He is 19 years old from Sims. And that person, again, was arrested Saturday night, charged with 5 counts of attempted murder. They're put in the jail. They're in Mobile. And we are expecting to hear more in a little bit, Tandra. So first, tell us what we expect. I know that you are planning to get back to Mobile here in a little bit for a press conference. So tell us about that first.
Yes, definitely. So they haven't really determined a motive for the shooting yet. So I expect maybe the police department will kind of give that information out and kind of provide more information as to what really happened, because like you already mentioned, it happened towards the end of the game. It was Friday night, and there were kind of a lot of unknowns. There were a lot of rumors circulating on social media. So I expect the press conference, which is taking place at 1 o'clock at Mobile Police headquarters, I expect a lot more details to kind of come out to clear up some of those rumors.
That's important to note, Tandra. We did see a lot of rumors coming around on social media. Police have not confirmed any of those. They haven't really expanded on a lot of that information other than what we just gave you. So hopefully, I know you're going to head back. You're going to book it back to Mobile and be able to bring us that press conference. And hopefully we'll learn more there. Now, again, the reason you're at the Theodore High School Stadium, and I want you to kind of show us a little bit the stadium and the parking lot. And the reason I want you to do that is because there is nobody there. And I want you to show us that there's nobody there. And let me tell, while you're doing that, I'll go ahead and explain why. So this game, again, the gunfire erupted with maybe 5 minutes or so left in the fourth quarter of that high school game at Ladd-Peebles on Friday. The game did not resume, which is understandable following that shooting with multiple people injured, with one person suffering those life-threatening injuries. So the game was set to resume this morning at Theodore, which is where you are right now at that stadium behind you. Now, the reason that nobody is there in that parking lot is because they wouldn't let anybody in. This morning, they said that there were no fans allowed. I do not believe parents were allowed either, no students, and no media. They actually told AL.com, we did reach out, ask if we could go in. They said no media was allowed. So, Tandra, I know the game ended maybe an hour or so ago. There were only 5 minutes left to play. But what are you seeing right now? Is there anybody around that stadium, or is it kind of a ghost town right there?
No, it's very quiet. Like, honestly, if you didn't look at the news or hear anything about it, you wouldn't even think that a game played this morning. Like, you can see parking lot. I mean, it's just full of student cars usually, or right now. But I mean, of course, you know what kind of an atmosphere a football game usually brings, especially down in the South and especially high school, with these two teams. So it's very, very quiet. I mean, like I said, it's like a game didn't even happen.
And you're right. Normally, it does maybe look like more cars are there than we'll say empty, right? But we have to keep in mind school's in session. So those are student
Right.
cars as well. And like you said, we are used to these high school games that you have to park in the grass. If you were like my high school or in the medians, there is not even enough parking spaces for the amount of people that want to come out to these games. So that is a big change. And again, not letting even in parents or cheerleaders, anything like that, or again, media to follow up on this game. Now, our high school sports reporter Ben Thomas, I'm looking through his Twitter, and he was not able to join us this morning. He's covering this, or he was covering this game remotely. And he said that the game ended pretty quickly after it started this morning. And he actually tweeted that from his vantage point, which was about 500 yards away, because he was not allowed in the stadium, that no plays were ever even run because there were only about 5 minutes left in that game. Now, Tandra, tell us again about that press conference in case anybody missed it, when that is and where that is this afternoon.
Right. So there's going to be a press conference at Mobile Police Headquarters, and that's supposed to take place at 1 p.m. today. I'll be going live, so you can hear all the remarks live, and then there'll be more coverage on AL.com.
And again, just to quickly recap some of this shooting was at Ladd-Peebles Stadium. I did mention that we know one person was hospitalized with life-threatening injuries. We don't know the extent of those injuries at this point. We do know that Jacoby Morgan's mother told another news outlet that he was shot multiple times. We are waiting to confirm that, and we're also waiting to get more information from law enforcement about his status right now. We don't know that at this point, or if we do, that has not been relayed to me since we have started live here. Again, we know that Jay Scott, 19 years old from Sims, is in jail on 5 counts of attempted murder. So charges there are 5 counts of attempted murder. Multiple people hospitalized, one person with life-threatening injuries. And Tandra, correct me if I'm wrong, because you're in Mobile, but I do not believe we've ever even gotten a clear number of how many people were injured.
Yeah, we haven't at all. We've heard at least 4, but it could be more. So we really don't have any idea. I'm hoping they clear that up and some of these other kind of rumors at this press conference at 1 p.m.
Right. And as you mentioned, there were rumors circulating on social media, which we're not going to give any stock to, but hopefully police will kind of put an end to that with some information this afternoon. Now, let's note quickly that Ladd-Peebles has had several incidents over the past couple of years. We know in 2019, there were about 9 people hurt at a shooting there at the stadium. And then earlier this year, there was a shooting outside the stadium that halted a game there. The game had to resume the next day. So Tandra, that's just, there's a lot of things happening around that stadium. I know there's a lot of questions about what's going to happen for the rest of the season for the games that are going to be played there.
Right. There are a lot of questions. I haven't heard anything concrete either way. I saw a few other outlets report that they were going to be moving 2 games, but I don't know if they're moving any more games this season.
I'm looking again, our high school sports reporter, Ben, he was trying to write some stories for AL.com about this, couldn't join us right now. So I was looking at his Twitter where he's been keeping us updated. If you want to follow that, he's been updating on this game and everything. His Twitter handle, we'll put it into the comment thread here, but it's at Ben Thomas Preps, Preps. We'll put it here in the handle there, or in the comment feed, we'll put his handle. And he's been covering kind of the sports aspect of this. And again, the games, etc. Tandra, you and some other reporters from our public safety team are going to be covering the shooting and the aftermath there. I know you're planning to be at that press conference at 1 in Mobile. So we are looking at several different comments here coming in. I even have somebody saying they played a playoff game in 1995 at Ladd-Peebles. So I know that has been a stadium that a lot of us have been to or played in over the years. So I know it means a lot to a lot of people. So hopefully we will get more information there. We'll get more information hopefully about these victims and exactly how many people were hurt. So Tandra, again, thank you for going to this stadium this morning at Theodore, where again, you can see it is not a high school football atmosphere despite one being played this morning.
Right. Very quiet. It's like a game didn't even happen. Very interesting sight, especially on a Monday.
Well, and like you said earlier, the atmosphere we're used to, typically I wouldn't even be able to hear you if you were at a high
Right.
school football game because of the bands and the crowds, etc. And even sometimes those games, you see it a lot with soccer, those games being in the middle of the day for high schools, they still have a good attendance. So no attendance, and that was mandated. There was nobody allowed in the stadium this morning
That's
at
right.
Theodore for that game to continue from Friday night. So we're going to be following up on all this. Again, tune back in at 1 p.m. for that press conference. Tandra will let you head back to the city of Mobile to get ready for that. Thank you for your coverage, and to our whole team for their coverage. If you are watching this, again, make sure you come back at 1 for that press conference, and you can find all of this news on AL.com. Thank you for watching.